Hello, hello.
Hi, Faeine. How's it going today?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful as well. Welcome
Awesome.
to 2026.
2026?
Isn't it 2026 yet?
2025.
Oh my God, I'm a year ahead. That is called a realtor who is ahead of the game. Already
Talk
thinking
about,
2026.
that's exactly right. Talk about thinking ahead and preparing for next. Yeah, probably because you were working on your 2026 business plan, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, see, this is clever marketing, guys. This is the way to say that we are ahead of the game
Yep.
in a subconscious way.
That's so true. That's so true. I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Yeah, we're on what, episode 5 now, aren't we?
Episode five, yeah.
Yeah.
Five or
And so
six, one or the other. Stop counting after one.
totally, totally. So what are we talking about today, Sat? Have decided on a topic that I think everybody should really listen to this, and these are things that people should know.
Absolutely. I think there are very few topics in real estate which are universal
Hmm.
and the ones that are evergreen, whether it is your first deal or 10th deal.
Yeah.
These principles that we're going to discuss here today will work. And whether you are a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor, as a matter of fact, if you asked most seasoned investor, they probably would be shaking their head a lot. Well, not shaking. Sorry, that's my ESL, English language. English as a second language. They probably would be nodding their head uh,
Right.
in approval of what we're going to share here.
Of course. Yeah.
But what I find though is interestingly that most people, this is probably one of the most important subjects about real estate and mortgages, and most people pay very low to no attention to this subject matter.
That's right.
So, no matter which stage you are in your journey, whether it is buying, selling, first time, 10th time, or even if you're thinking about mortgage renewal, if you're at that stage working towards something, this is a subject matter that you want to pay attention to and listen to because this will serve you tremendously.
Yes. And what is the topic? It is how to pick the right realtor for you. How do you choose
Ta-da!
a realtor?
Yeah. How do you choose a good realtor? That's,
Yeah.
you know, here is a real life story. Every time I speak with real life clients, one of the things I like to ask them is how did they choose to work with their last realtor? Like, what was their experience like? What did they consider? What was going through their head?
Yep.
And guess what? Guess what type of answers I get 9 out of 10?
Oh gosh, I don't even want to know. What did they say? What did they say?
Most of them say, I don't remember. I don't think we
Oh,
did any qualifications or interviews. Or, oh, my sister sold through her. Or, oh, she was a family friend, like a cousin was involved.
yep. Yep.
Or here's the worst one I've seen. I met my realtor at the bar.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Awesome.
I've heard that. I'm like, great place to
Oh
pick
my
a realtor
gosh.
from.
Well, and then sometimes, the classic bus bench, like,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
bus bench, exactly, right? I
their
saw
face
that
is on a
advertisement.
bus bench. They've got to be good.
Yeah, yeah. They send me advertisement every day or every month.
Yep.
Right? They gotta have some skin in the game just because they see their advertisement every month. So
Yeah.
those
Or
are those are
their
pardon me?
parents have been using the same realtor for,
Yeah,
40 years. And, by default, you're sort of the next generation, maybe having to inherit the same relationship with that realtor because it's expected. I've
exactly.
heard that a lot.
Yeah, in when I go to states and visit my friends in states, they are very religious about Democrats and Republicans. Like if
They
my
are,
my
yes. Oh, yeah.
grandpa was Republican, and then down the generations, that's what they who they vote for.
Yeah.
They're divided into Chevys and Fords a lot.
Yes, that's right. I
Right?
know. It's like, I mean, this is a whole other conversation, but yeah, it's very like one or the other,
Yeah,
right?
very one or the other. It's
Yeah.
very kind of this is what my family has used, so this must be the best.
Right.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
stick to it. And I think Canadians do that with their realtors.
they do. They
You
absolutely do. Yeah.
Whether it's
And I
right or
think,
wrong, my mom and dad used it, so I'm going to use
yeah,
it for her.
yeah. or if you have a family member, I think like when you hit the nail on the head when you said, oh yeah, so and so is a family member. It's there's very much an expectation when there's a realtor in the family, and
Yeah.
like, and that kind of sucks because it really, it doesn't necessarily give the buyer or the seller, the
Mhm.
opportunity to really see if they're the right fit for them,
Agreed. Agreed.
and it can sometimes, cloud the experience, which I've been told
Seen
that
happen.
that's
Yep.
happened, right, with people.
Yep. Agreed.
So yeah, it does kind of take away from, the experience. But yeah, so what we've both done is both Sat and I have pulled three main key points that we think everybody should do when they're looking for a realtor.
Yep.
So we're going to share them with everybody. And
Yep.
Sat, I'll let you go first. Why don't you pick the first one?
Okay. Well, before I actually dive into this subject matter of what you should look for, let me share with you why do most people not do it. If I backtrack
Yes,
a
good
little bit
point.
with,
Yeah.
with the listener right now,
Yeah.
whenever you did your last transaction, did you intentionally pick a quality realtor who was right for you, or did you just pick it by sort of like osmosis, if you want to call it, like whoever came to mind, whoever was the first, right?
Yeah.
And here is why it's important. I met a very prudent realtor. As you know, I like to learn. I like to be a student of the business. So
Yes. Yes.
wherever I see good people working, I kind of like to go out of my way to create partnerships with them because I can learn a lot from them.
Totally.
So met a very prudent realtor, sorry, prudent investor, and he was on his about, I think, 170th property that he's bought and
Wow.
sold in last 10 years or so.
Okay.
Um, I asked him what's the number one thing he sees when he is looking to do a property transaction. What is the number one thing he pays attention to? And I thought it would be dollars and cents and area and location that we always hear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he said, number one thing I pay attention to, Sat, is who is involved in that deal as a professional.
Mm,
Who is representing me and who's representing the other side.
okay.
I'm like, okay, why is that important? Let's just call him Ben just to mask his ID. Ben, why is that important?
Yeah.
He goes, because Sat, that realtor or the mortgage brokers are the sailors, are sort of like the captains of the ship.
Hmm.
If the captain has no foresight or not enough skin in the game, I don't know where they're going to lead me to,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Fair
And then he
enough.
gave me a classic example. He said, if you fly from Vancouver to LA, he said, you understand there is something called radars in the airplanes? He said,
Yep.
that radar is 1 degree off.
Yeah.
And plane's supposed to go to LA, and he's used the name of the city. He said, probably 1 degree off, he'll end up in Detroit.
Yep.
Total different results.
Yes,
Just by
exactly.
1 or 2 degree off. He said, that's why, because whenever I'm doing these transactions, there is a lot riding on them,
Yes.
hundreds and thousands, if not millions of dollars. He said, the way I see myself, if I cannot take the bag full of whatever amount of money is involved in the transaction and hand it to that individual to go invest wherever, if
Yeah.
that individual is not good enough to meet that test, he's not good enough to be my realtor.
Yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it,
Yeah,
because it's true. It's basically like you have to, I mean, it's like it's the classic, sentence where it's the biggest financial decision
yeah,
of
exactly.
most people's lives. And so, yeah, if you can't just like basically hand over your trust with your, entire financial portfolio,
Yeah,
then yeah, if you're not comfortable with that, then no, I mean,
then
it's
that
it's
realtor
not going to work for them representing you. Yeah, no, I
shouldn't be
fully,
shouldn't be at all. So I asked him follow-up question. I said, so Ben, in your mind, in your experience, why do most people not pay attention to that? That's kind of such an obvious point. It was actually a bit of a mind bender to myself as well.
yeah,
Because two reasons. One, people are uncomfortable asking the questions. They don't want to kind of come across standoffish. Us as Canadian, as a community, we are very polite people. We
I
don't
was
want to kind
just
of
gonna
come,
say we're so
right?
polite here,
We're so
right?
polite. We don't want to ask the question. We don't want to offend anybody, right? So
Yeah.
that's one reason.
Yep.
Other reason is people simply don't know what to ask, what to look for.
Yeah.
Because what are they going to ask? Like how many Medallion Club members you've earned, or how many years of experience you had, how many Google reviews you have?
Did people even know what medallion is, right?
Probably,
Like,
probably, probably don't even know, right?
yeah, exactly. They
And
don't know what they don't know, right? They
yeah,
don't, nobody's ever educated them upon how to go about interviewing for a realtor.
exactly. And then, I mean, let's face it, everyone has that on their website. Everybody's website is polished up. Every realtor says, I'm the best in town.
Of course.
I can get you the most dollar for the sell your home fastest or help you buy your dream home.
Yep.
Show me one advertisement that doesn't promise that.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So,
Yep.
right? So how do you differentiate good from bad
Yeah,
without
absolutely.
without coming across unpolite as us Canadians don't like to be, right?
Coming off as impolite. Yes. Oh,
Impolite.
we got to be polite.
Yeah, impolite. And you, Finn, you have also have to teach me some English.
Some what, sorry?
English.
English.
Yeah, that's when I go to sometimes I go to drive through, I make a mistake, I say no English.
Oh,
That's my get out of the something. I've said something weird. Now I gotta protect myself. So no English.
yeah, yeah. No English. Yeah, that's funny. My husband, he's French, right? So he does that every once in a while. So like, yeah, if he talks really fast, like if you know Marty,
Yeah.
he talks really really fast sometimes, and then yeah, he fumbles up on his words, and it's like okay, he's like, oh, I'm French, guys, I'm French, but he doesn't have a French accent at all whatsoever.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
completely bilingual, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a great card. It's a great card we like to pull.
exactly.
Anyhow,
Oh
so
goodness.
get back to the subject here. Keep the keep this podcast
Yes.
under time. Okay, so you asked me. So now that we know that how important it is to select a good realtor and why do most people not do it?
Yeah.
Then the next question leads to, okay, how would you go about doing that? Does that mean you have to sit somebody down and grill them with questions? Probably not.
Mhm.
It is how I suggest you do it. You have an intentional conversation. If you create an intentional conversation, if you email us or text us, I can send you a PDF that I've created.
Mhm.
But I have jotted down about dozen or so good questions, not as a question as like standoffish, tell me about this, but dozen or certain things that you can kind of just sprinkle in your conversation and take cues on how they're answered. And based on those answers, you should be able to have a very good judgment on whether this individual is right for you or not.
Yeah,
So if you want that PDF, you can just give us a call or text or email. Happy to
definitely.
send it to you. And Faeine and I think I can speak for Faeine as well. I know for myself, on the same page, we don't uh, fill people's emails or with junk mail at all. That's one thing
No.
that I love about Faeine, and it's kind of one of my policy as well.
Yeah.
If somebody asking for some basic information, let's get them the information without being big marketers about it,
Yeah,
without having
exactly.
without having to call them 36 times a month kind of deal. or,
Yeah,
or 3 times a day
exactly.
emails, right? Like if you need that information, just text us in a genuine, authentic way. We'll just forward it to you. Okay?
No strings attached, but
No
yes,
strings attached.
absolutely.
No
Yeah, for
strings
sure,
attached.
for sure.
So anyhow, I'll get back to the point here. So what to look for in a realtor? Here's my biggest thing that I think you should look for. First thing you should always look for in that realtor is ambition. How
Yeah,
how ambitious are they?
yeah.
Um, if you generally ask the questions like, so let's say you're interviewing the realtor named Sat as an example, and if you say, so Sat, so tell me a little bit how have business been last few years, and what's your goal for next 4 or 5 years or so coming up?
Yeah.
And if they stumble upon it, they go, well, I don't know, I tried doing the best I can. They have no goals, they have no direction for themselves.
Yeah.
That's probably is a good sign that that realtor probably is not going to be good enough to lead you through much because they are just kind of going by the flow by themselves, right?
Yeah. Fly by
So
night, kind
fly
of
by fly
just
by night, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you want ambition. You want somebody who's driven. You want somebody
Yeah.
who want to achieve great things. Now, why is that important? Because somebody who's ambitious and driven will always put forth more work, more effort, more determination in helping you get that good deal
Yeah.
than somebody who's there just to kind of just to pass by and possibly make a sale and possibly earn a paycheck,
Yeah, exactly, right? No,
right?
absolutely.
There's
I
a big
totally
difference in
agree.
there.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
one thing that I always, if I was to hire a realtor or mortgage broker for myself, knowing the industry from inside,
Hmm.
number one thing I look for is this person driven? Are they
Yeah,
ambitious?
yep. That's a very, very good characteristic and quality to have for your realtor for sure. There's way too many quote unquote lazy realtors out there. Let's just say that.
And
You know,
hey, sometimes we are probably in that category too. In some
we're all human though. That's the thing,
it's not a
right? Like
perfect.
we are all human. However, I definitely, over the years, I definitely have gotten to know, certain qualities of other realtors. I'm like, how the heck do you still do business, right? And a lot of people, they become complacent.
Yeah,
They're not as ambitious to, wow their clients and have that, that same driven experience that they were used to creating in, their first, decade or two of real estate. And now is just sort of like, okay, yeah, I don't, I'm just doing the business because it's still just happening.
yeah,
But their heart necessarily isn't, in the same place as it was with it back when they, had more ambition, more energy, more enthusiasm about their business, about their reputation, about their client experience, about their service. Yeah. So I totally agree. I think ambition is a huge characteristics.
yeah. And it makes a
Um,
big difference in the outcome too. Sorry to cut you off, Finn, there, but also makes a big difference in your outcome because you said
yeah,
classic example from Ben, your airplane being 1 degree off,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's consider it 1 or 2% less if you don't have somebody ambitious and driven.
yeah,
1 or 2% less results. Let's talk about money wise. The
yeah,
average property, average house in Fraser Valley right now is 1.2 million.
yeah,
Okay, what's 2% of that?
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Right? So
Totally. Oh
just
yeah.
by 1 or 2%, it's like 25 grand all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So
A lot
that one quality in just one incident means like 25 grand.
for sure. Yep.
Anyhow, Finn, what is your favorite one? What do you like?
Yeah. So, out of my three, we'll start with experience. So I'm not saying that you need to hire somebody who's been a realtor for 30 some odd years. No, definitely not. I think, however, it is also important to recognize, I look back at when I was first starting in my first couple years of real estate, and I'm like, holy Hannah, like been doing this licensed 15 years now, and the stuff that I did not know and had to learn the hard way,
Yeah.
I mean, could fill a library over the years, right? So I
Yeah.
do think that there's something to be said for, somebody who is really got their skin in the game. They've, do this on a regular basis. They're not like oh, this is just my, side gig. I
I
only
get
need two deals per year. And, like, no, that's not
Yeah.
like hiring a professional. That's like, it's kind of like the mediocre version of, and just knowing what I know now, there's so much responsibility and liability that we take on. And sometimes we encounter really difficult scenarios depending on what the market's doing, depending on the property, like, and if we don't know how to handle things properly from, a legal document contract perspective, or, if we miss something, we have a lot of responsibility that's put on us. So and that's above and beyond just knowing market value and, how much can you get a property for, or how much can you sell it for? Like that's part of it, but there's so much more that we do
Yeah.
throughout the course of being someone's realtor. So yeah, I do think that making sure that they've got enough experience under their belt that you can feel confident that they know how to handle contracts. They know how to, do their negotiation. They do know how to really kind of look out for your best interests in all shapes and forms, not just hey, I'm going to give you a discount on commission. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot to be,
The
yeah,
classic, yeah.
there's so much more than that, right?
I'm cheap enough. I'm cheap enough.
Yeah. Right.
Even though it's
Yeah,
going to
and
cost you hundreds and thousands in the deal, but I'm cheap
yeah.
enough on the commission bill.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'll save 5 grand in commission, but I'm losing, 100 grand on the deal, like you said. Yeah.
Well,
Um,
let me add a quick story to that because I like to
yeah.
so one time I sold a mobile home in a mobile home park.
Yep.
And Realtor was exactly that. She was working, I think, as a corrections officer, and
Okay.
on the sides, she has kind of her real estate license.
Right.
And I remember talking to her when she was going to write a deal on my listing.
Hmm.
Oh, I just do it as a mom. I need extra 10, 15 grand a year. I thought
Yeah.
this would be my great way to do it, right?
Yeah.
She had this gal who she was representing to me in the mobile home. And the mobile home was on a native land. Okay,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
layers of complexity in this if
Oh my gosh.
what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so she sends me nice gal. I'm like, great, send in the offer, etc., etc. So she sends in the offer. Guess what she has offer written as? A
A
strata
regular
townhouse.
like
Strata townhouses.
oh, strata townhouses. Oh, jeez.
He did not know the difference between mobile home park and strata.
Right.
So not only that, she was not experienced enough. So she has asked somebody in the office apparently to send her the template on how to write a deal on mortgage
Oh,
on a mobile home. So she got this template and sent it over. And in this template, there was no clause about financing, about registration, none of that at all. So I read it, and I remember her kind of talking to me on the phone that her client need to go for mortgages. So I picked up the phone. I said, "Hey, you said this, but you haven't put it in the contract here, and plus your contract is kind of somewhat wrong anyways because it's on strata forms."
yeah.
Um, but do they now have their mortgage? Like, do they now have their mortgage secured? Like, do they not need the money anymore because it's not in the contract here? Guess what?
Yeah.
He said, "Oh my God, did I forget to put that
Oh,
in?" Right? Now, as realtors, as humans, of course, I sent that contract back and asked her to recorrect it and
of
resend me the
course.
right
Yeah.
one because I don't want to kind of get my seller to sign on it because now it becomes a legal, legitimate contract.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but can you imagine that?
I really can't. Like, honestly,
Right?
as a client, knowing that my realtor doesn't even know how to write a contract, like
Yeah.
that is so scary.
That is very scary. That is very scary. I don't know if the
Yeah.
clients knew what she was doing or not on this end or not,
Oh, gee.
but at the end of the day, whether you know this or not,
Yeah.
you could be in a real good bind just because your realtor missed something if they don't have enough experience. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's kind of just something to be said there.
Yeah. So, and I think, like you said, I mean, education, like we're always doing continuing education for one. But, I think really, seeing what they're also doing to stay ahead of the game as well, right? And I mean, I know that Sat, you do a certain amount of, seminars and personal development and business and real estate education and events per year.
An
And
hour a day, an hour a day.
an hour a day. Yeah. And I have a business coach, which I pay out the wazoo for, but it keeps me fully in the know of marketing trends, what's predictions, what's happening in real estate, how to market properties in the best possible way, algorithms, AI. Like we're learning about what's ahead of the game all the time.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
Yeah,
very few people do that, by the way, guys.
it's
Very few
true.
people will take the time or money to
Yeah,
invest into themselves and fill their minds with good knowledge and good strategies so they can go serve their clients.
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Very few people. So
Yeah.
anyhow,
Okay, go. What's your
okay,
next
okay.
one?
Number two,
Yes.
I want to talk about the number second quality that if I was looking to hire a realtor today, I look for ambition, I look for a little bit of experience behind them. But the equally important reality equal important quality I would look for is how good are they at building relationships.
Good one.
Okay? It is why that's important. Because yes, real estate is about properties and prices and files, and this goes for mortgages, by the way, same thing.
Hmm.
But it is more about people.
Yeah.
I have seen more deals being made and made profitably and made stress-free, if there is a certain way, because of the people who are involved on both ends.
Yeah.
I cannot emphasize enough how many times I see people sending us offers, realtors sending us offer, and a text comes in. Hey, I've sent you an offer. Take a look and please get back to me on this. right?
No context at all
Seriously, no
whatsoever.
contact at all whatsoever. We don't even know who this realtor is, if
Yeah.
he's the real realtor or not, or is somebody kind of just trying to fool with us on an offer.
Oh gosh, no
So
kidding, right?
I
Yeah.
would usually pick up the phone and I would usually say, okay, because I'm representing my client, I want to build a relationship on the other end. If there is a good sale, I want to bring it forth, and I want to kind of make sure it's profitable.
Yeah,
And because every sale kind of ebbs and flows, right? There is
for
nothing
sure.
smooth in real estate ever.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those good relationships or ability to build those good relationships on the other end really quickly,
Mhm.
deal could get stuck in that.
Yeah,
And you lose on profitability, you lose on negotiation because there is no relationship, no rapport on the other end.
totally.
But
Yeah.
those relationships are not only important in the deal itself, but outside a deal. Because think about it, as a client, you don't just need realtor when you're buying a house. You need an inspector, you need an appraiser, you need a banker, you
Yep.
probably need a lawyer, you may need an accountant, you may need somebody who does a whole like updos on your properties. Okay, people who have ability to build relationships with others in the market would have pre-qualified individuals in their phones that they have great relationship with,
Yeah,
and this
absolutely.
individual will give you either a little bit of a better service or some sort of a favor or some sort of a discount because you got referred by somebody who has greater relationship with them.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Sure, you
networking and like who do you already have in your
you
sphere?
already
How well connected and yeah, no, I totally agree.
exactly
I think
right.
that's great.
So like I'm sure you have probably experienced this before. When you knew somebody who knew somebody, one of my coaches always tells, said business is not about what you know, it's who you know. He calls it the who luck.
The who luck. Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's, you know what, there's a lot to be said for that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, and it
So I
also
think
shows that they're connected with, the local community and they know what's going on and has a, really good pulse on who's there and, who to connect you with. And I think also too when we're referring to other people in other professions, how their experience is
yeah,
reflects on
reflects on us.
us,
Yeah,
right?
reflects on
So
us 100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Most of my deals that in my experience, that went smoother compared to others. I won't say every
mhm,
deal was 100% smooth, as
yeah,
that wasn't the case, but at least it was smoother than compared to most others. And both side, buyer and seller side, enjoyed that transaction.
yeah,
Were happy and satisfied with the outcome of it.
yep,
Almost 100% of the time, it was because on the other end, the realtor was a relational person who
yeah.
understood the value of being connected to people, who was very interpersonal, somewhat likable, positive, upbeat,
Yeah.
on their game a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Those deals have always brought better results.
Absolutely. Everybody's happier, things go smoother, definitely.
Yeah,
And when you're working with a realtor that is nothing but unprofessional and who
yeah,
has poor communication skills and who is very combative all the time and just, it makes the deal really difficult to navigate. And
yeah,
if it's difficult for us to navigate, we don't get the answers to our clients as quickly as we normally would.
exactly.
There's gaps in, just how everything flows. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right that having some good people on both sides and they have interpersonal and communication skills, that's really it's essential to having a successful transaction or overall process.
Yeah, and the way you can again, you will learn more on those questions in PDF. But if you want to learn in your conversation whether that person is interpersonal or not, ask them a question or two. Hey,
Yeah,
who have come into your fold lately? Like, have you talked to brought any mortgage broker into your fold lately? Who
yeah,
has come in there?
yeah,
If there are like 2 or 3 word answers to your questions, it's like let's meet. We'll talk when we meet.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
right,
exactly,
and
right.
that
Oh my
kind of
God.
language there. Oh, but Oh, I don't do any of this extra stuff. I get down to business, I roll up my sleeves and I go to work.
Yep,
And that kind of language there, maybe they're ambitious and maybe they're driven, maybe they're hard work and not taking it away from them. But hard work alone doesn't bring success in real estate.
totally. Totally.
Interpersonal relationships pay
Yeah.
a lot of dividends. So
And we're a
that was
service-based industry, whether you're, whether you like it or not, we're service-based, right? And
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot
Uh,
rides on it. And
yeah.
yeah, yeah, those relationships really would matter to me.
So the other one that that has come up in my list here is knowing the area and knowing the product.
Hmm.
And so very much to like the example that you just talked about a home being on native leased land as opposed to an actual ownership type of property.
Mhm.
Those are huge, huge factors that I mean that changes the dynamic of ownership
Yeah.
completely. So I think certain areas definitely require people that know the intricacies of certain things. I know that waterfront properties, for example,
Yeah.
there's a lot of intricacies with that.
Yeah.
Native leased lands, landslide, areas or,
Your technical
natural
situation.
disaster prone areas. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many different things. And also, strata,
Hmm.
like, condos and townhouses versus acreage properties that have, wells and septic tanks, right? So there's a lot of different areas and types of ownership that I really think it's important that your realtor kind of, has a good grasp on what to look for. They're experienced in these certain areas and they're not, kind of going in blindly.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah, I think that that's important for sure. You want to make sure you know somebody that or that you have somebody that really knows the area and is able to represent you in such a way that they know the type of property you're looking for and the location.
Exactly. And one of Fain, I've seen you working a lot in this side where you actually very I love the fact how you're very kind of community oriented, not just the area as geographically.
Right.
But I've seen you investing into places where you kind of get to know the crowd, like who lives there, what kind of crowd is there, what kind of demographics are there.
Totally.
Like if you're a
Totally.
single kind of young family, you probably don't want to be stuck into like 55 plus age groups as much. You probably want families
Yeah.
who are young, vibrant, growing, just like play with kids outside, that kind of thing. And
Yep.
that's why no, knowledge of that area is very important.
Yeah, people ask me, can they walk to school? Can my kids walk to school?
Yeah.
Where's the bus stop? Can they walk to the corner store? Where am I going to do my grocery shopping? Where's the closest gym? There's so many, and those are just like the basic questions, but they're so important, right? And you
Yeah.
don't want to have to say, oh, let me look that up for you, or let me get back to you. And it's, you can say that on a couple things. Obviously, we're not going to know everything 100% every single time with every question, but when that answer, comes up all the time, like, oh, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I mean, what is that saying, right? It's saying, oh, I don't actually know,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I mean, some of the questions you can I think you need to say if you don't know that you need to say I don't know, and there is some truth and honesty in that.
Yeah, oh,
But I think
absolutely.
but I think that questions like, hey, what kind of schools are close by? That's a very basic. That's like
Such,
yeah,
yes.
that's like a child going to grade 9 expected to know ABC,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's like you should know. Like you came to show me this property, you should have been prepared, studied this area a little bit, knew which schools were there, how far. Like, have you not done any of that? You just showed up.
Especially if you know your client
You
and
know
they
your
they
client, right?
have kids in, in ages grade,
Yeah,
kindergarten to grade 12. Yeah, right.
that's
It's
very,
yeah. Yeah.
very important.
What's your
Um,
next one?
my next one, as you can tell, my next ones are so much on personal development side of things.
Totally. Oh, I love it. I love it.
My next one is a leadership quality in that realtor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, here is why leadership is important. When you think about leadership, what do you think about mostly? Well, most people think about leadership as in some big, huge, humongous this form or figure who's leading thousands of people, et cetera, et cetera.
Leading the parade.
Leading the parade, right? Not necessarily true. A leader is
Yeah.
somebody who kind of sees more than others and who sees before others,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So realtors need to have this somewhat of I'm gonna call it like a laser sharp vision when they hear your story, what you are looking for, or what kind of areas you are looking to sell from.
Hmm.
They kind of know, okay, what's gonna be involved in getting this transaction through to the last step,
Yeah.
and be able to lead not only you through those ups and downs, but when you are doing a transaction, there is other side involved as well.
Hmm.
And many times, if their realtor is not as good of a leader, they're so more or less like an order taker, like a buyer or seller tells him or her, I want to pay 20 grand less. And then they just come up to you, my buyer want to pay 20 grand less.
Hmm.
Or my seller asks for this and this, right?
Hmm.
What,
Yeah.
what, what that usually tells you, some of those requests are very reasonable and viable, and we got to work with them. But some of those requests are just like, brothers, you gotta lead them. You gotta lead your client. Let them know whether this is the
Yeah.
right type of thing to ask or not, right?
Yep.
Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? Sometimes we see this. A classic example is we would list a property and somebody will send us an offer like $70,000 less than asking price.
Oh, yes.
Purely, clearly, their realtor is not a leader.
Yeah.
They did
Yep.
not lead them to do market research. They did not lead them to make good decisions. They just took the order. Oh my
Yep.
God, I want to write 70,000. So here I'm order taker and they're
Yes.
right. Now
Yeah.
the realtor is not necessarily making decisions for people or forcing decisions on them, but they're leading them through, they're educating, they're kind of raising them up. It's sort of like one of the classic example I see that sometimes clients are like slippery little babies,
Yeah.
right?
Slippery little babies, of course.
Right? Sometimes that's the way clients are. And because there is so much involved, it's not their fault.
No, of
There's
course.
so much
Yeah.
involved. Sometimes it's their first time, second time, or third time. Everything they have saved up until now is involved in the deal. They don't do this every day. Stress is high. They don't want to make
Of
a mistake,
course. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, they have their personal situations too. We work with lots of clients where they are going through all of the real estate stress.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they have other stress at home, like kids, marital relationships. Um, Lately, when I experienced a daughter-in-law
Everything.
coming over the Christmas,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? That kind of thing. And all that put into one package while they're trying to make the best possible decision for the most expensive transaction in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Um, so clients are not necessarily in the clear thinking phase at that point in time.
Yeah. That's true. Yes.
Yeah, so your realtor needs to lead them, or their realtor needs to lead them. But more
Mm.
importantly, if you are at the receiving end of that work, you need to be probably reflect back and lead the realtor on the other end
Yeah.
on how to act right and what is right without losing their interest, without losing their, because that could be a potentially good deal for you, for our clients.
Yeah.
The leadership is very, very, very important role. Okay.
The key word that comes up as we're talking about this too is to provide guidance.
To provide guidance, yeah.
Yeah,
To
is somebody
provide
to be able to
guidance,
guide and take
yeah.
initiative
Oversight,
and yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Come up with the like show why if a deal is not workable, not just be able to send back. Somebody offers you a lowball offer, not just send it back like this is not going to work, but be able to actually build a good case why this is not workable.
yeah,
What would be a more reasonable offer, right?
yep,
And,
absolutely.
and I find that every time I do that, I usually I would usually record a voice message, Finn. I record a voice message, like 5 minute long voice message or something. I explain it to them,
Oh, okay, okay,
right? And
yep.
then I would say, hey, have your buyer or seller listen to this message so that it's not coming from you, it's coming from me, the third party. And
Oh,
all of a sudden, everyone feels very comfortable with that. And then their buyers or sellers listen to that message, and 7, 8, 9 out of 10 times deals
yep.
come back in much more favorable terms.
Wow. See, You're always thinking outside the box, Sat. That's what
right?
I love about you.
Yeah, so what happens is, again, if you are not able to lead through those ups and downs and kind of utilize kind of those I guess the strategies,
Yeah,
and that's why when I go and that's why all my 3 points, ambition, you'll only be able to lead somebody if you have good relationships with them.
yeah,
And you'll only put time and effort into building good relationships if you understand the value of them. And relationship building takes some time and effort. You'll only do it if you're ambitious and driven for good results.
absolutely.
So like
Absolutely.
they're all interconnected. Miss one, and you might be missing a lot.
Yep. So true.
Yeah. So what is your last one, Fane? Do you have another one,
Oh my goodness.
or you did your
I
three?
I'm just gonna do one super quick. I know we're past time here. But I just wanted to touch on the referral. So I know that not everybody is going to have the same personality type and not everybody is going to jive. However, what I've found is that great people know other great people. Their people are connected to others that have a commonality. And oftentimes this is by, demographic, personality type. And so I've, personally experienced, clients of mine, past clients of mine that have referred me to their friends and family that are also part of their sphere and that who are very in the same space in life, and they're all there's a common what am I trying to say here? They share the same values,
Yeah.
and so when you have somebody that's had a good experience with a realtor and they're very similar personality types, that's a really great starting point to how you can potentially start there by interviewing that particular realtor. And because it's almost like having the best testimonial ever
Yeah.
when it's somebody that and
Mhm.
it's not necessarily going to work every single time, but I think that that's a really good place to start. Having that interview in for a realtor, or that realtor in for an interview, and starting there.
Absolutely. And just like Fane said, just because somebody referred someone to you does not mean that's the right realtor for you. It's like
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
like Fane can refer me to the best steak and what is the other animal you guys eat, Fane?
Oh, steak and
Steak
lobster.
and lobster. So is it an
Yes.
animal? Is it an animal still?
Well, it's, yeah, steak and lobster is like a surf and turf. I mean, yeah, no,
Okay,
it's
okay. That's
a delicacy.
yeah, that's the extent of my knowledge about meat and seafood because I'm a vegetarian.
That's right. Yes.
So Fane could have um, gotten a great experience at a steak and lobster meal. But if she recommends me steak and lobster, it's probably not the right meal for me because I'm a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Same way, when you get referred to somebody, do not skip over the interview part.
Yes.
But that is still important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you still need to make that own decision.
Yeah.
But it is really great when you can have that referral and also share that same experience if that's, what you're looking for in a realtor as well.
It's a great place to start from. It's far better,
Yeah.
like what Fane said earlier. It's far better than bus bench.
Bus bench, yes. And way better than the bus bench.
Right? Or or the little flyer that you received in your mail today.
That's
But
exactly right.
it's a
Yeah.
far better place to start from that. But still, you got to make sure you're doing your own due diligence and having conversations with two or three realtors.
Yeah.
Sometimes what I've seen is in my experience with referrals, somebody served somebody really so great that they
Mhm.
were totally like impressed, like totally floored, like how great this gentleman or somebody served them. 2 or 3 years later, they recommend them to somebody else, and this person had totally not even near as good of an experience. So what happens is this
Yes.
individual, 3 years ago, they were in the game. Today, they are not,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
Timing changed.
Yeah.
Or different. They were really good in this particular segment and they could shine, but they are not necessarily fit for you. And,
Yeah.
and then and then you're not kind of going back to whoever referred you. You referred me to somebody bad. Well, if you've had bad experience on a referral, it's not their fault. They probably did it out of goodwill. It's
Of
bad on
course. Oh
you that
yeah.
you didn't take the time to qualify
Yeah.
the property.
Yeah. Because maybe they're not, maybe they don't know, maybe it's a residential realtor looking at, for a commercial transaction, right? Like
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
apples and oranges, right? It's totally
Yeah,
different.
agree.
But awesome. Well, yeah, I think we've covered some really great pieces of information on how people can, at least get a framework on how to pick a realtor. And of course, if you ever want to interview a realtor, myself and Sat are always happy to sit down with you. And yeah, we really hope that some of this information was really useful for you. And yeah, we wish everybody really good luck.
We would really love to apply for that job. I have a resume made with a cover letter. I can send over to you. Pick us up and we'll send you the PDF.
Yep, exactly.
Questions to ask, what to say, and we would want you to um, really totally measure us on the same scale as we are asking you to measure others.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
only allow us your business if we truly stand out.
Yeah.
If we don't fully stand out compared to all your other choices, we don't deserve to earn your business.
Right?
Right?
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
if we do, we deserve every bit to earn your business, and we're looking forward to that.
And we are pretty fun to work with. So I'm
Yeah, I'm
just
very,
saying.
very fun to work with. Other than me skipping on my English language, I am pretty good. I don't know, sometimes I don't know how to spell, but I know how to sell.
Exactly. But priorities, right? Priorities.
Yeah, and we have Faeine,
Awesome.
the supermodel here.
Yeah,
Another,
maybe 20 years ago. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Faeine attracts a lot of people just by the way she looks. And people like really are just her energy, her enthusiasm about life is
Aw.
oh, like it just draws people. I've seen her in action at open houses and stuff. It just
You're
oh,
you're
great
too
person.
kind. You're too
No,
kind.
I sincerely mean it though. I sincerely mean it.
Yeah, thank you.
If we can be any help to you guys and you like working with people who are genuine, people who are authentic, want to sit down, have a conversation with you without creating any pressures or these false, like get it now type of deals.
Zero
You want to
pressure.
understand,
Yeah.
zero pressure, give us a call.
Yep.
We do real estate, obviously. I'm specifically also vested into mortgages
Yep.
after that side of business. And we are also very well connected to companies that do home improvements and lawyers and accountants and so forth. So once we sit down with you, we get to know what exactly your deal will take. We can usually bring all these professionals up front and seek advice and guidance from them up front before you go into the deal. And that
Yeah.
saves tons of time, tons of frustration, and in most cases saves you a lot of money as well.
Yep.
Because you
Yep.
know what your step one, two, three, four, five gonna look like before you take your step one.
Exactly. Exactly. And if, somebody isn't very, is maybe a little intimidated about or overwhelmed,
Yeah.
I think that yeah, it's always nice to have somebody that knows what they're doing and that can kind of take that initiative and stress off your shoulders. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
awesome.
Thank you
Okay.
again for watching us and hitting
Thank
us up. We
you.
appreciate you guys so much.
We
And if
do.
you want to
Yes.
learn more about our experience, head over to our pages and we have some Google reviews. Check out.
Indeed, we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And we will chat next week.
Absolutely. Look forward to see you all again.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.